What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 70 and we start today's episode off with a game in the Barclays Premier League against West Ham. And yeah, I read all your comments today, guys. This is Sunday for me. I read all your comments on today's video, episode 69 of the question I asked, which was, do you want me to leave Norwich? And it seemed as though the responses were mixed, which is just typical my luck. But I've been reading all your comments over the past hour, and once again, thank you very much for your comments on whether I should leave Norwich or go to a new club. Of course, in that episode we applied for Juventus, I think it was, and they said no. So yeah, I was taking a look at the comments, and it seemed like a lot of you were saying no, you should stay with Norwich, because of course you start with Norwich, you're only in the third season, and you can still make a claim for the title eventually. And it seemed like a lot of you were saying no, you should leave Norwich now, you've made them into the Champions League club you wanted them to be, that was the aim, and now you should look to move on and try your hand at a different club. So the comments were mixed, which is just typical my luck, because no matter what happens I'm going to disappoint a lot of people. But basically I decided after looking at that what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to browse the job scene, and basically if I find a new club which interests me, like Juventus did, Manchester United would interest me as well, to be honest, because they're a bit of a fallen club on the game. I'm going to apply for them, and what's going to happen, I think I mentioned this before, what's going to happen is that if I apply for them and they say yes, we'd like to take you on, what I'll do is I will end the footage there, and I will save the game, and I will put up the video, and I will say which club would you like me to go to. I either stay at Norwich or go to, let's just use Manchester United, and I will make a straw poll. Is that what you guys said in the comments? There was someone who left a comment that said use a thing called straw poll. There's an app called straw poll or something, and basically you just put two teams in there and people can just vote for free. There's no registration or anything. So I decided that's what I'd do. I thought that's a pretty good idea, because it means that it's up to you guys then whether I leave or stay. So basically that's what I've decided to do. So once again, thanks for your comments, really appreciate them all. Try and read as many as possible, and yeah, that's what I'll be doing from now on. But anyway, to today's episode, we do take on West Ham for the first game of the episode, and Kirikez gets us off and underway here. Really good header by our centre back, who scored a couple of goals already this season, so really good header by the former Spurs man. Then you see Lukaku get past Collins with a lovely roulette, and it's a really good finish by our new number 14. So good finish there, and I couldn't pick the ball up, which is really frustrating. But yeah, Lukaku gets a goal on the stroke of half time, which is great. So we're 2-0 up here, and West Ham really weren't playing too well. They did have a couple of chances. Carroll had a good chance in the first half, but in general they weren't playing too well at all. And straight from kick-off here, Ross Barkley goes on a nice run, nice little fake shot on roulette, rolls it through to Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum chips the ball over the goalkeeper. Will it go in? No, it's cleared off the line, sadly, and it's still 2-0. But in the 65th minute here, the ball was headed away. It came to Wijnaldum. We go on the counter-attack here. Nathan Redmond finds Lukaku. Lukaku with a nice turn finds Chaloba. You see me put the counter-attack on here. Eventually the ball comes out wide to Andros Townsend. Nice double step over. Gets inside. It comes to Chaloba. Chaloba goes through 1-on-1. Tries to take aim on his left foot, but it's a good save by the goalkeeper. But I made a substitution here, a triple substitution, and look at this. We had 11 English players on the pitch at the same time. Butland, Klein, Smalling, Corker, Shaw, Chaloba, Barkley, Townsend, Jennings, Redmond, and Lucy up front. And as I made the three substitutions, I then realised that every single player on the pitch, once those players came on, would be English. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, I've always said, I did the same in FIFA 13. If anyone was watching my career mode back then, I've always loved the idea of having as many players from the same nation of the club as possible, and I don't think I've ever had 11 players of the same nationality as the club, on the pitch at a single time. That was awesome when I saw that, so that was really cool. And yeah, all the English players were playing, which is great. I mean, that's just the definition of homegrown talent, really. And yeah, we see Chaloba find Townsend here. A really good chance for Townsend to make it 2-2, but he puts the ball just wide. So that England connection was looking quite well here, as everyone seemed to know what they were doing. 10 chemistry for days. But yeah, it was still 2-1, and in the 80th minute here, Nathan Redmond picks the ball up here and finds Dale Jennings off the bench. Jennings chips the ball over to Nathan Redmond. Redmond rolls it back through to Dale Jennings, and I just love I've ran out of words to describe Dale Jennings on career mode. It's just something about him. I just don't know what it is, It's not even just a blistering pace. It's the fact that his stats, he just seems like the most composed finisher in the world. He's just ridiculous. And yeah, Jennings makes it 3-1 here. But the guy gets back in, West Ham get back in the game here. Diarmi gets the goal after the ball was fisted across the face of goal, and he manages to put the ball in the back of the net. So it's 3-2 here. Diarmi with the goal to put West Ham back in the game. Allardyce was loving it. But straight from kick off here. Nathan Redmond collects the ball. Berber spins around Stuart Downing, gives it off to Ross Barkley. Barkley gives it to Shaw. Shaw finds Redmond. Nice passing here. Redmond down the left-hand side. First time Berber spin. Goes one-on-one. What a finesse into the top corner. A really, really nice team goal there. And like I say, that's just the English connection there. The homegrown talent all coming together as one. And yeah, a really good finish by Redmond. And the game does finish 4-2. So we pick up the 3 points. It was great to score, you know, 4 goals in a game because, as I've said many times, you know, since the patch, I've struggled to score many goals, you know, in a single game. You know, pre-patch, you know, all the games used to be filled with goals. You know, we used to have like games that ended like 7-4, you know, at the start of this career mode. But, you know, post-patch, it's been really difficult to, you know, score loads of goals in a game. But, you know, 4-2 win against West Ham, really solid win. I was pleased with that. Then we see Redmond has accepted a contract, which is great. And Luke Shaw also accepts the contract. So, you know, despite all the speculation, our fullback is going to stay. That's great because he's only 20. He's got loads and loads of room to grow. So Shaw and Redmond stay. So again, great to see new English players stay. And that's awesome news for us. And we also had a monthly scouting update here from our Danish scout based in England. And once again, the players were sadly very poor. You know, this player looked quite good, Lee Marshall. We're going to keep him on the scouting and, you know, see if he still looks good after 2 or 3 months. But, you know, I say this every single time, but it does seem as though scouting is a lot harder this year. I may be wrong. Maybe I've just got completely rusty at it and I'm not very good anymore. But scouting does seem a lot harder nowadays. It does seem really difficult to pick up a very, very solid young player. So, you know, hopefully we'll pick up one player that does turn out to be amazing. But as things stand, it's just a feature which really isn't interesting me because I'm just not getting any results. But we also saw that Leroy Fer is coming back from injury. That's great because he's our captain, and that's awesome news for us. And he was fit to play in the game against Spurs. There was no plaster next to his name, but his match fitness wasn't up there, so we decided to rest him again. No point in playing him when his fitness is that low, but it's nice to know there's no plaster on his name, so he'll be fit for the next game. But yeah, we did take on Spurs for this game, so it's not going to be easy. Of course, Spurs are the first team that have beaten us in this career mode series. They were the first team to beat us. We lost 2-1 at White Hart Lane, I think it was. So yeah, not a very happy place for us to return. But even so, you know, I was looking forward to it. It's a test. It's a real test. You know, as we want to stay in the top 4, we have to win these types of games away at the big clubs, and hopefully we can do that. As you can see right now, they're actually sitting in 7th place and we're in 4th, so we're ahead of them. But the table is just so tight. You know, we're coming up to halfway through the season, if we've not passed it already, I can't remember. And the table is just so tight. There's no real like. You know, from 4th downwards anyway, there's just so little points between the teams, and you know, we're trying to pull away from the pack, but it's really difficult. But we did take on Spurs, and in the 5th minute here, Falque finds room and smashes the ball past Butland. It was a really good finish, and in the 6th minute, Spurs were in front, so a very disappointing start for us here at White Hart Lane. And in the 10th minute, Ross Barkley tries to dribble out of the box. Eventually, Sanjo makes the interception. It comes to Falque. It comes to Sanjo. Sanjo finds Wilfred Boney, and the former Swansea man puts the ball into the bottom corner. So the Ivory Coast striker makes it 2-0 to Spurs, and we just weren't doing the job. And in the 20th minute here, Townsend collects the ball, chips it over the top to Wijnaldum, lovely first touch, fake shots around Jan Vertonghen, takes aim, but Hugo Lloris makes a great save, comes to Redmond, but sadly the chance ends up coming to nothing, so still 2-0 here. And in the 42nd minute, Spurs came through once again here. They were pressuring us really well. Eric Lamela slides the ball through to Boney. Can he finish? No, he puts the ball over the bar. That was a really, really good chance to add to his goal tally, so still 2-0. And in the 56th minute, we tried to play out from the back, and again I gave the ball away. Cross comes in, Butler clears it away, but I think it was Paulinho's volley that just goes over the bar, so still 2-0. But in the 61st minute here, Paulinho's heavy touch is loses out to Lukaku. It comes to Nathan Redmond, nice Ronaldo chop, brilliant free ball to Lukaku, but his shot hits the post, so a real chance to get ourselves back in the game here was wasted, and it was still 2-0. And in the 90th minute, sadly, it just wasn't going to be our day. We didn't have enough time to come back, and Spurs just passed the ball around with ease. It was well, I mean, this just shows like how difficult it is to get the ball off the AI on Legendary. Their stop and turns, their precise passing, you know, their movement is just so impossible to contain. And you know, sadly the ball comes to Paulinho here. Paulinho and Falk collect the ball, just keep passing it to each other. Eventually Falk goes down the left hand side, and you know, Klein is just lunging in. He's trying to make the challenge, he can't do so. Paulinho with the roulette gets past Anunzio. Eventually the ball goes across the face of goal, and Ramirez puts the ball in, and Spurs do collect a 3-0 win. So it is a defeat, and very disappointing to have that defeat because we've done very well to avoid defeats this season. But as always, guys, a big thank you for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like, that's much appreciated. It really does help my channel out, and it only takes a second to click that like button, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode tomorrow afternoon.